2-year-old always has plenty of energy.
Well, sure.
But Polly, when I take her for a walk, she now literally like a sled dog. Like she wants to run. She wants me to run with her, and I don't run. Sorry to disappoint, but yeah, no, she definitely has more like a pup, more youthful energy right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. Yeah.
And look at Dr. Jerry. So Dr. Jerry has a 155 pound German Shepherd.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of his name. What was his name? Oh man. It's something you would name a Sasquatch or a Yeti. He's a beast. Okay. So anyways, he's 7 years old, and he had like a really bad allergy, and his hair was falling out, and he had bald spots all over him. His legs were bald, and Jerry said he was just laying around. His eyes were all milky, and they were having discussions. Him and his wife were having discussions about, that they should, he's in pain, he's suffering, they should put him down. It's time to put him down.
Yeah.
They were having that discussion. And then he received the, Cristin sent him the mush puppies. And, well, no, she sent him mush ponies because that dog is so big.
Oh, for the horses.
So he got the mush pony. Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
But this dog is a pony. And Jerry was like, he couldn't believe it. In 3 days, the hair started growing back on that dog.
Really?
The eyes started to clear up. And now, when I call Dr. Jerry, that dog won't leave him alone. He's got the ball there. He wants Jerry to go outside and throw the ball for him.
Fetch and, yep.
He's like a pup again.
Aw. And they wanted to put him down.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. So, yeah. So Jerry.
Because our vets, our doctors, our vets, they don't know what else to do. And so they just, they do all they can within their knowledge, their scope of, of experience, and then they just say, put them out of their suffering.
Well, they only know what they're taught.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad because how many would survive? How many dogs out there would still be bouncing around and enjoying another 7 years?
That's what I get excited about. That's what I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
Think about that. How many family members we're going to save?
Yeah.
With this.
Now, do you have a dog?
I've had 3 dogs.
Yes.
And every one of them took a piece with me when they left.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it again.
No.
And so my last one, I carried him in, to get the injection. And I was just bawling.
I can't,
it's so hard to do. And you could just feel the life leaving, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't go through that again. And then about a week later, there's a cat running through my house. And I'm like, where'd that cat come from? And my wife and my son, they're trying to play it cool, because I'm not a cat guy.
Yeah.
I'm a dog guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what is going on? And I go out in the back patio, and there's 3 more back there. And
3 more?
And they're feeding them.
Without your knowing?
Yes.
How dare them?
Because no way, no cats, only dogs. What happened was, as soon as my dog passed away, those 4 cats showed up at our door. They're all strays.
Meant to be.
And they were feeding them. So what happened was,
because they missed the dog.
Yes. Well, they knew the dog was gone, so they figured, hey. So
there's room now.
Yeah. So one of them, my little niece would come over and visit the cats out in the back. And she named one of them Mr. Whiskers. So Mr. Whiskers would sneak into the house. I would be taking a nap in my chair, and I would wake up, and that damn cat was laying right here on my chest, just purring like crazy. And I'd wake up and look at him, and he's just looking at me. And this happened over and over and over, like over a 2-week period. This cat would find its way inside the house and lay on my chest. There's Cristin. Hi, Cristin.
Hi, guys.
So,
Hi.
well, what happened was, I'm like, okay. I'm like, that cat owned me
Already.
took ownership of me.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't say no. So we let them all in, and they've been here for 17 years.
Oh, wow. Indoor cats even.
Yeah. Indoor and outdoor. I built them a cat condo. So they go out one of the windows of the house, and they got a big old condo with all the, they got all the things they can climb on in there, and outdoor.
Better than the Humane Society. They got those, Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. So now I'm a cat guy.
That's awesome. And so many cats, that I've had previously, they have these dog personalities anyhow. They want to play with balls. They're so fun.
Mr. Whiskers, he's like a dog. He's like looking up. He's like looking up at the wall, like he hears something. And I'll tell him.
They're like protective even. Yeah.
I'm like, get him, Whiskers, get him.
Yeah.
He acts like a dog, like he's going to get him.
My ex-husband was like that. It was like we already had a beagle, and he was like, no cats. And we found, his daughter and I found a Persian in the newspaper or something, because I always wanted one. And she was at almost not a mill, but just her condition, I could tell wasn't great. Anyhow, so Zoe was like 10 years old, and we went up to Whitewood and we picked up this cat. We brought it home, and it was just this cute little bundle, and my ex is like, no cats, you can put it outside. And it slept right here, just like you were saying. It curled up with him and made friends so fast. Actually, it was a he. His name was Oscar, and he was the coolest cat. He had the big paws and really long hair.
Oh yeah.
He looked like Oscar the Grouch, gray with long hair, just kind of,
They know. He knew I did not like cats, and he just took advantage of me.
Oh, and absolutely.
I just fell in love with him. He's my favorite now.
So and you're giving them the kitty gravy and stuff?
They get the gravy. They get the gravy. I've got the freeze-dried food. I can hardly wait for the canned food to come out. They'll start getting that. But I've taken the capsules apart, put the capsules in the food, mixed it up. We've done it all. And testimonial. And then I'm gonna run. And then
I want you to introduce Cristin, since you know her better, though, before you go. Okay.
I'll introduce Cristin. So I'll just tell you this. So Mr. Whiskers, he's got one eye. So we've had him for 17 years. I don't know how old they were when they showed up at the back patio.
Right. Yeah.
But he's got one eye that's almost completely closed. Okay. And when I open it up, it's got a big brown spot there, on his eye. And so after about a month of him getting the gravy in his food, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, his eyeball opened up. Like he's not squinting anymore. And when I look in his eye, that brown spot is almost completely gone.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
And he could not jump up on the chair to see me. I would have to, because I got my little blankie. So I would have my blankie down there, and he would climb up the blankie and then come up to see me and then lay here on me, Now he's jumping from behind the chair up onto my lap like a little kitty again.
Isn't that great?
So
Oh,
it totally changed everything for him. Yeah.
aw.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Thank you for all that. See,
Yeah.
I wasn't worried at all that we wouldn't find something to talk about till Cristin could come on. So thanks for that, Hernan.
Well, if you have me on as a guest next time, I'll share my own personal story.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about that, and I want to talk about that, the human side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me introduce Cristin.
Okay.
So Cristin she's been a part of this company for 8 years, and she is certified in pet nutrition. She is so knowledgeable. It's unbelievable. I could listen to Cristin. I listen to her. She does podcasts. She does a lot of podcasts, and I listen to every podcast, and I learn something new every single time.
That's great.
She's absolutely amazing, and her husband have been incredible support. Any questions I have, they pick up the phone, they text me back, they answer all my questions. Just really, really super people. So everyone, welcome Cristin Ludlow.
Such a pleasure. Thank you, Hernan.
Hernan, that's so sweet of you. So kind.
God bless.
Okay, you guys have fun. I'm going to see you too.
Okay, you go watch.
Have fun.
At the casino. All right, see ya.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. There we go. Wait, I want to do it like this. How about that?
Yeah,
Woo! Okay. Hi.
Hi, Jill. How are you?
I am good.
Lovely.
Thank you. And you?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Nice to have you with me this evening, this afternoon. What time? Where are you? I forgot.
I'm in Vegas. So it's
In
like,
Vegas?
So when he said casino, I kind of laughed. I'm like, yeah, there are a couple of those here.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. Now, are you Pacific time there?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. So you're an hour behind me. Okay. So do you want to do any more introductory, any words to our audience besides what Hernan said?
Not
Who
really.
you are, and why are you here?
Yeah. Well, he did let you know that I'm certified in pet nutrition. And I always think it's important to share with people why I decided to do that. And it was because 8 years ago, I found out that a lot of the foods and treats and toys that we're giving our pets every day is actually what's been making most of them sick. And our pets are living half as long as they used to. I watched a documentary called Pet Fooled, Petfooled. And it destroyed me. I felt so discouraged and so disheartened after I watched that. And I remember getting to the end of it thinking, number one, I've lost every single pet that I've ever had in my whole life to cancer, unfortunately. And after I watched that, I'm like, okay, that makes perfect sense. But the worst part about it was that I never questioned it. I had just because since I was a child, that had been my only experience. And I guess I just accepted it as the life cycle, right? Like this is what normally happens for everybody. And I never, ever questioned it. So once I found out some of the main reasons why it was happening, then I am not the kind of person that just learns something and then is like, oh, that's sad, and then just goes on with my day. I'm like, no, I want to do something about this. Like our pets are so dependent on us and we're their voice, and so I want to educate myself and learn as much as I can, and then in turn pass that forward to other people and help to educate them and inform them, because I know once I learned a lot more about nutrition, and when I learned more about the natural resources that are available and how they're a lot more effective and a lot more affordable than what most of us have been doing, I thought I need to share this with others. I need to be a voice for those that don't have one. And I truly, from the very beginning, wanted to be a part of changing the way that pets and people are being treated. And so that's kind of how my journey started. And I'm so grateful that I did that, because getting certified in pet nutrition did two things for me. Number one, it gave me more confidence as I was having conversations with people, because there's so many people that had all the same questions that I had. why does my pet have diabetes? Why are they having allergies? Why are they having chronic arthritis and chronic pain and the hip dysplasia? And, why are they, all these things that people were experiencing. And they had all the same questions as me. And they were also asking, well, what can we do about it? How do we address that? And so it gave me more confidence as I was talking to people, but then also the credibility side of it. I wanted to show people that this is not just a hobby for me. This is something I'm incredibly passionate about. I've invested my time. I've invested my resources into learning all that I can, getting certified, traveling all over the country, doing seminars and conferences and just speaking on podcasts and all different kinds of events, because this is a passion for me, and I want people to know how serious I take this. And if I can just help one pet, or if I could just help one person with each conversation that I have, then it's so worth it. I will talk all day long.
Oh, good.
That will listen, which is, if you know me, I'm a pretty shy person. So it really has called me out of my comfort zone. But, your faith has to be bigger than your fear. And, the message is so much bigger than my fear, and making sure that people know that there are better options that exist for them that can help them in so many different ways is more important than like my own little insecurities or fear. So I just charge forward in faith.
Well, and you've been doing it 8 years, so you have the confidence built up and the testimonials. I mean, yeah, your level of belief is there,
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Once you've seen what I've seen over these last 8 years, it just miracle after miracle after miracle for dogs and cats and horses and people and chickens and rabbits and ferrets and tortoises,
Really?
everything you can think of. Yeah.
Wow.
Once you've seen what I've seen, you're right. You really understand what's going on. And I now know exactly what we have our hands on and what a gift it is and what a blessing it is for animals and for people. And you're right, that is what gives me the confidence to really move forward. I've seen it over and over and over. I've seen what it did for my own body. I had my own autoimmune condition I was dealing with that I no longer, it's just gone. So I know what can happen when the body just has the natural support that it deserves.
Well, can you talk a little bit more about that? I've got some talking points here for you. But the mushroom itself, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there on mushrooms and different kinds of mushrooms. But tell us about how a mushroom can be nutritious and how what is it? I've heard from Hernan, it's not really healing. It's more like balancing. So the body can do its own thing that's natural to us. Our immune system is meant to take care of us. And same with pets.
Mm-hmm. Your pet's immune system is their best veterinarian, just like your own immune system is your best doctor. It was intelligently built into our bodies to be able to repair, regulate, rebuild, renew, recover, rebalance, everything that's happening inside of the body. So when you're looking at, I think one of the worst things that's ever happened, unfortunately, and I don't think it came from bad intentions, but it's just what has happened over time, is the compartmentalization of the body. How there's a specialist for every.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
There's a specialist for every little thing, and as if each part of the body functions completely independently of all of the other parts.
And then the right hand doesn't even know what the left hand's doing. It's like this doctor's not talking to that doctor, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's no communication. You just have these different specialists that you see for all of these different things that you're experiencing, and they're treating or trying to manage whatever's happening in that particular area, but it doesn't operate that way. They're dependent upon each other. Sometimes you have an issue in one area, but that's because it's overcompensating for an issue you have in another area. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with that specific organ or tissue or whatever it may be, but because it's trying to compensate for a different area where there's lack or imbalance or disharmony, then it creates kind of a disconnected mess, if you will. But the immune system is present in your entire body. The immune system is like in every part of your body. It's the most important system that we have for our pets and for ourselves. And what's great about the immune system is it doesn't treat any symptoms. Like what we've been taught is treat the symptoms, right? Treat the conditions, manage
Band-Aid, just a Band-Aid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Manage the symptoms. But what we don't realize is the symptoms are not the problem. The symptoms are actually a great sign to us because they're an indicator that there is a problem. So the symptom in and of itself, we should be thanking them for coming up. Every time we have a symptom of anything, we should thank our body for it's like a check engine light on a car, right? When something's wrong, the check engine light pops on. You don't just go shut off the check engine light. No, you run a diagnostic, you figure out what's happening, you address it at the source, whatever caused the check engine light to go on in the first place. Once that's fixed, the check engine light goes off on its own. That's kind of like what symptoms are in our pets' bodies and in our bodies. So these symptoms are indicators that there's a source, there's a cause for whatever we're experiencing. And if we can address that area, if we can address the source of it, then by default, a lot of the symptoms will no longer present themselves because we no longer need those indicators because it has been course corrected. But I love what you said about the body being able to take care of itself. You know, we use a really pure and potent strain of a mushroom called the CORIOLUS versicolor mushroom. Right. And there are over 200 known strains of this mushroom, and we have the most pure and potent strain. And hi. And
this is Gidget.
Hi, Gidget.
She's a 2-year-old King Charles.
I love King Charles. They're so sweet.
She is a
lots of energy.
Oh, lots of energy. And she loves hugs. Oh, she's just
so sweet. Yeah. And those faces. Oh, my goodness.
And kisses. Oh, goodness sake. And hugs. Okay. You said hi. Gotta go
hi, Gidget.
Thanks. And Polly's sitting in the corner taking a nap. So.
Don't you love it? I heard a study this morning, actually, on being a pet parent. And it's a study, I believe they said, oh goodness, don't quote me on this because I just heard it this morning, but it's over 69 years. They've been running the same study on the effect of having a pet in your home. And it's gotten to the point where they say that having a pet, there's 31% less occurrences of heart conditions. And, another percent less of anxiety or depression. There's just all of these positive things that having a pet does for your body and for your mental health and all of that. And I'm like, oh, that is such a great study for such a long period of time. I'm going to go find that so I have those stats because it impacted me. But just seeing your face light up when she jumped up there, I'm like, that's it. We feel that unconditional love and it goes into our heart and it makes us younger. It makes our bodies better.
And I'm a pastor at 2 churches and, congregations are getting older and older and older. Mm-hmm. So I have an elderly congregation and they'll lose a pet and it's just devastating. And they're like, well, I'm too old. Yeah. I that's not fair. Or maybe I'll do a senior dog. Anyhow, I encourage them to do it, and it makes such a difference, I think, even in their longevity. Just keeping them around, just reason to live.
Yes. Yeah. And like you said, the responsibility of taking care of someone other than yourself, that's good for you. Yep. That companionship and having that responsibility, and they want to play. And so you have to get up and play and do
they depend on you, just having somebody that they need me. I can't not be here for them. Yeah.
You get to go take them for a walk, which really they're taking you for a walk. So
exactly what I need. Yep.
Yeah.
So back to what you were saying before Gidget so rudely interrupted us. You were talking about a statement I made on the immune system.
Yes, and the body taking care of itself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My Gidget was too cute.
So I have to do it. Sorry.
Don't blame you. I would too. So we use a really pure and potent strain of a mushroom, and we don't add anything synthetic or artificial to it. We just take it, we extract it into its most important components that are inside of it. And it is amazing how this food, because it's no different from eating a mushroom on a salad. It doesn't interact with any medications or treatments. You can't get addicted. You can't overdose. There are no side effects. There are hundreds of published studies that have been done on this CORIOLUS versicolor mushroom that show that it supports the immune system. And then an immune system that's functioning optimally is what handles everything that's happening inside of the body. So it's so funny because people will say, will it help me with this? Will it help me with that? And again, we're very conditioned, right? I have high blood pressure. I need this. I have high cholesterol. I need that. I have arthritis, whatever it may be, whatever our pets may have. We're so conditioned to run to a particular medication or a particular supplement for that one specific thing.
Individual.
When there are foods that feed the body, that feed the immune system, and then the immune system handles all of those things. And one thing that I love about this particular mushroom, and it's God, the intelligence, the infinite intelligence behind creation, and we only understand a small portion of the intricacies of it all. That's why I can't comprehend there not being a creator, because everything's so intelligently designed. Like even just the odds of an eyeball, one component alone of your body functioning the way that it functions, are astronomical for that to just randomly assemble itself, right? There has to be an intelligent designer to all of this. But when you look at this mushroom, it is available. It grows everywhere in the whole world. The whole planet is covered with this mycelial network of mushrooms that actually nature uses to communicate. So if you have a tree in one area and a tree in another area, and this tree will say, I need more carbon. So it'll send out impulses through this mycelial network of mushrooms. It will hit this tree. This tree will say, oh, I have extra carbon, and it will pass the carbon through the mycelial network to the other tree. Like nature communicates with each other and they take care of each other. It's so beautiful. And God, I'm just in awe and wonder every single day. But this mushroom, when you're walking on the ground, 80% of every step that you take, you're stepping on that mycelial network. The spores are everywhere in the air. We're breathing them every single breath. So this is something that God has given us abundantly, has provided abundantly for us. And every animal and every person in the entire planet was meant to have access to it because it grows everywhere. So that in and of itself should tell us something about what God has provided for us and this perfect plan that he originally created, how it's all intended to work, where we all rely on each other and we all take care of each other. You know, it's such a beautiful picture when you're able to kind of look from a higher perspective, if you will, and just see the way it all just works together. It's like it's orchestrated so perfectly. And it's funny because we always say that we deal with all of these different things, and the answer all along has been right under our feet. Like it's been right under our feet the entire time. We just didn't know. And we've been using it for thousands of years, but we're finally rediscovering it and returning to understand what it does for the body of animals and for people and how easily it's metabolized, which is why it's so effective.
Got it.
I just said a lot of words.
Yes, you do. And like that word, even mycology.
Mycelial.
Well, it's mycology.
Yes.
Certified in mycology.
Mycology. Yeah.
And so that's the study of mushrooms?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I have learned so much about mushrooms because I'm a curious girl. And so I always ask God questions about everything all the time. And I wanted
Me too. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm always seeking, right? And I wanted to learn more about the mushrooms and what they do. And I decided to get certified in mycology. And one of the most powerful things that I actually learned from that, among many other things, is that fungi are actually their own kingdom. So they're neither plant nor animal. However, They shared their DNA closest with humans. Humans and mushrooms share the most genetic sequence than any other living organisms.
I didn't know that.
Blowing. Nearly, it's about 30 to 50% depending on the strain, depending on the type of fungi. So up to 50%, they have the same genetic code as us. Isn't that unbelievable?
Depending on what kind of human you have.
Right.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
That's better to say. Probably would have been more accurate.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting for sure. Yeah. And I mean, everything we hear on the news or we listen to our doctors, it's so negative, and nothing works together. And it's like, really, God's plan is so harmonious if we really, just paid attention even to our own days and our own lives, how traffic, how waterfalls, how everything. I mean, I learned, I just think it's so fascinating, like you, that roots, how they communicate with each other. And like if a tree is left alone it won't survive by itself. It needs those other roots to survive. And then the other day, somebody was talking about on some podcast I'm listening to. Oh, I think it was Mel Robbins, who I just love. I've recently discovered Mel Robbins, and she was talking about how when the leaves fall in the fall, it's the tree pushing them off because the tree is trying to sustain the water, right? For the winter, because it'll be dry. And I didn't know that. I mean, it's so fascinating how it's all these things we don't know, I think is the point too. We've never been taught this stuff. We don't have any idea how brilliant, how miraculous this all is. Yeah.
It gives me
working. I know, me too. I was crying, tearing up a minute ago when you were talking.
It gives me chills. And when we stop to notice, like you said, when we begin to focus more on what's just all around us, in front of us, it really will never cease to amaze us. And that's why when I hear, in these songs, these psalms that were written of the rocks crying out and the trees and the, everything, the birds are worshiping and everything's worshiping. And then you learn now in the year 2025, there are tiny little microphones that you can put onto a mushroom and it plays a song. It plays actual chords.
What?
Converts the frequencies of each plant or mushroom, whatever living being, it converts that frequency into a note and it plays music. It's called plant music. It is unbelievable. So you read this stuff in the Bible, and then now 2,000, 4,000 years later now, we're like, oh, we can actually hear those songs that those guys were writing about thousands of years ago, saying what nature did. We can actually now hear that with our ears. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. For those that have ears to hear, they know. If you know, you know.
You know, you know.
If you know, yes. So before we get out, we've been on about a half hour now. First of all, this pet food video that you started out with, where can we watch that?
You can just search it on the internet. Just
YouTube
type in watch. Yeah, anything.
It's not a Netflix or something specific.
No.
Okay.
You can just type in watch pet food. And I know they've done a second one too. I haven't watched that one yet because it was the first one that God really used it convicted me. And that's what really lit a spark in my heart. But I know there are 2 of them now that you can watch. And yeah, just type in watch pet food and you'll be able to see all these
pet food. Okay. And then so far as we haven't really talked much about, Hernan kind of alluded to the fact that, like this morning, I was on our call and Lily, her testimony. Were you on that call this morning?
I was, but I had to step out because we actually have like a entrepreneur Bible study that we go to.
Yeah.
End of it. I was so upset to miss it.
But the human testimonies, I mean, Lily was however old she is, and she's like, and I was all bent over and in so much pain, and she'd been praying about it, and she's like, God, I know this isn't how I'm supposed to live,
Right.
it's not me. And a friend gave her a bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and within what, 3 days or something? I mean, it didn't take long.
No, and again, it's not a medicine, it's not a cure for anything. So it's always going to be different for every person, but your body knows how to metabolize it. Once you start getting it into your body, it's all 100% natural. Nothing is synthetically sourced. So our bodies know what to do with this new food that it's getting, and it starts kicking into action. And in our pets, for people, we're noticing within a week, a lot of people are starting to notice like this turnaround, more energy, I'm sleeping better. I myself, it elevated my mood. I was really sick at the time, actually, when I started taking the Coriolus versicolor mushroom. There are these little capsules called the Inforce, and that's what I was taking. And one of the first things I noticed was that it elevated my mood, because I had gotten very depressed because I just didn't feel well all the time for several years.
Yeah.
And it had made me depressed, and I didn't even realize it until I wasn't as depressed. And I'm like, oh, like this, I feel happy again, and so those are things that people start noticing right away. And then especially after 30 days, that's when it's like, wow, there's something special happening. And what I always encourage people, if they're able to, right at first, when you first start taking it, we don't know what's going on in our bodies. We might have some type of idea,
Right.
but there's so much happening inside, and there's an attack on the immune system right now. It's just getting so compromised, and it's our God-given armor. It's literally the armor that God built into our bodies to protect us. And there are so many holes poked in it from chemicals that we're cleaning with, and chemicals we're putting onto our skin, and food quality and water quality and air quality just has become so compromised that our bodies are not able to manage as well as God designed them to. The immune system's just weakened. So once it starts getting that natural support, it's amazing how quickly that kicks in. And again, it's no different from eating a mushroom on a salad. As a matter of fact, the more that you take at the beginning, like the faster you get larger amounts of it into your system, it really will help to accelerate your progress. And again, you can look online. There are hundreds of studies that show this. So you don't even have to take my word for it. Many of them are published in the National Library of Medicine. So there's our researchers from the most reputable institutions and organizations in the entire world are finding these things. So when you get that into the body, it's unbelievable how fast things can change. So if you're already feeling okay, if you just want to stay well, if your pet you have like a little 2-year-old that you don't want to get to that point where you're making those hard decisions, it's always better to be proactive than reactive. We just have a suggested amount that you take every day. We have a saying, every pet, every person, every day should be eating the Coriolus versicolor mushroom. And if you do have some concerns for your pet or maybe yourself, then we recommend for at least the first 30 days to double or triple that amount. So when I had my issue that I was dealing with, I tripled it. I was taking 6 of the Inforce capsules a day.
And is the Inforce the extra strength?
No, it's the most basic one. It's the green bottle.
The green bottle. I've been doing that.
Yes, that's like our number one go-to. Every person should be taking that green bottle, getting that Coriolus versicolor mushroom into their system. Now, if they have really serious concerns for their pets or for themselves that are catastrophic, then for at least the first 30 days, if it's within your means, we recommend 4 to 5 times that suggested amount, so that the body really needs extra support. It needs extra help, extra food, so that it can start working through all of that. And it's very intelligent. It'll prioritize what needs to be done and in what order it needs to be done. So it'll go to the most catastrophic areas first and then work its way throughout the body, repairing, rebuilding, rebalancing, regulating, whatever it needs to do. It's so smart. So that's my recommendation if you do try to use this mushroom therapy from that website that Jill is sharing with you. But We have seen countless testimonials, and time after time after time, God has used his creation, of course, to restore his creation, which, like you said, his ways are simple. It's easy. There's grace, there's grace in it, and there should be grace and ease in with what we're experiencing as well. And that's what we found through this mushroom therapy, is that it's just as simple as, let's get these proper foods into the body and then let the body do what God designed it to do in the first place.
So you recommend for someone that doesn't have, with a pet or themselves without any issues, just get on the Enforce at least for preventative measures, and take more if they have an issue. Besides the Enforce, what do you recommend people add to that? I mean, like, I initially heard about the biscuits, what are they called again?
The mush puppies.
Mush puppies. Yeah, that was the first thing I heard about. And I think the first thing I put them on was the mush puppies, and they love them because they're peanut butter,
And I should tell people, because people do ask me, well, how are there human capsules on a pet website? And it's funny because we did things so opposite. Like, we did things so backwards for most companies. We were actually offering it for people first for many, many years. And then in 2017, after several of our founders lost their pets to cancer, they knew all the research. They'd seen what this mushroom had done for people for all those years. So they were like, I wonder if this is safe for pets. They found a great study by the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Care that it was not only safe for animals, but actually beneficial for them, especially when they're dealing with those concerns, because it's an immune modulator. It's not a stimulant. It's not a booster. It's a modulator. And so that's when they formulated the mush puppies, to make a fun way to get it into your pet system every day, because it's much more fun for you and for them than just to give them a cookie.
I've never tried it.
Yeah, you can. It's all human grade whole
Really?
foods. I always joke that all of our products have been tested on humans because I've eaten them all.
Really?
But that's a rule that I have. If you're not willing to eat it yourself or put it in your own mouth, then we shouldn't give it to our pets. Like, that's how much we should trust the brand. So I've tried it all. It's pretty good. You don't have to. It's not.
They smell good. Yeah.
It literally tastes like a peanut butter cookie without sugar.
Is that right?
You might want to try one now if you're curious like me.
I like peanut butter. Sure.
So my niece, one day when she was 4, this is years ago, she was 4 years old, and my sister-in-law took a picture of her, and she was sitting on the couch watching TV with a bag of mush puppies in her lap. And she ate half the bag. She didn't know they were for dogs. She just, because they taste like peanut butter cookies without sugar. She just thought they were healthy cookies. She was very healthy after that. No,
Right. Running around the house.
People. But yeah, we did things so backward because we had offered it for people first, and then we found out it was safe for animals. So we tested it on humans first, then gave it to animals. And then after so many people were just sending us these praise reports of their dogs and their cats and their horses recovering, people were like, okay, my animal has no idea there's a mushroom in this cookie that I'm giving them, or in this gravy that I'm mixing with their food. It either works or it doesn't. And so once they realized how well it worked, they started asking for it for themselves. Some people even did start eating the mush puppies. We're like, no, don't worry, guys. We already have this in human capsule form. We can just add it to the website. So that's why there's now a human section on the website.
And the coffee too.
Oh my goodness. That coffee is so fresh and delicious. And I love coffee. I drink it black every day. And I'm really picky about it. But the challenge with freshly ground and roasted coffee is that a lot of the coffee in the United States has molds and mycotoxins in it.
Terrible. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, a lot of the coffee that gets sent to other countries, and those countries reject it because of the mycotoxins present, it gets sent to the United States because it's not regulated here. So we were like, okay, let's put this superfood with another superfood because it has so many antioxidants and there's so many great properties to coffee. And so we have organic, pure coffee, no molds, no mycotoxins. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff, but we add the immune supporting CORIOLUS VERSICOLOR mushroom to it. So not only does it taste really good and it's really smooth, but also, you know, that acidic feeling that you get in your stomach when you have a couple cups of coffee, or, you know, you get a little jittery. I never have felt that with this
No,
coffee.
I take it. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Very good.
really, it's not only delicious, but it's great for you as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. What else was I going to ask? So yeah, I mean, and you talk about tortoises and everything else. So it can't harm if people think, you know, my Chihuahua's too tiny, I don't know what to give it. You know, if they give it a capsule anyway, it's not going to harm it.
Yeah. There's no toxicity at all.
Okay.
Much.
There's not being too much. Okay. And then one of the things I noticed in my pack that I got the dog food, like regular daily dog food. But do you guys sell that by bulk? Like, can we get more?
We do up to 12-pound bags because we make all our food in small batches. A lot of the food that's out there on the market has a lot of preservatives in it, carcinogens. It's baked at really, really high temperatures and it chars the kibble. A lot of them are using unclean meat sources. So 80% of us have our pets on a kibble diet. And while it's not the optimal diet, it's what the majority of us are doing. So we wanted to provide a better kibble that's baked at low temperatures, around 200 degrees, with no preservatives, no sugars, nothing artificial or synthetic in it at all. So it's use clean meat sources only as well. So it's so much better for them. And because we don't use any preservatives in it, the largest bag that we have is 12 pounds, because once you open that bag, that's when it starts aging, you know, once the air is in there. Yeah, so we have smaller bags so that it can maintain the freshness of them.
Gotcha. I didn't know because I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, but now I know why. Okay. So, and then you have the canned food, etc.
We also add probiotics and prebiotics to the kibble and the canned food as well, which is really important because most of our pets' guts are just not in good shape. They are missing a lot of that good bacteria. So we just add it into the food since they're eating it anyway. So it's like when you look at the cost of it, you're actually saving a lot of money because what you would pay for just the prebiotics and the probiotics alone monthly, that's just automatically included in the food. It ends up being a lot less expensive for people. So,
well, and I think the thing that people don't think about is prevention. I mean, what does it cost you to take your pet to the vet and surgeries and who knows what? You know, the first time we talked on the phone was, I think Polly had been on the kibble, the doggy, the mush puppy for what, 2-3 times? I think I gave her one a day for 3 days or something. And she had a bad night and made a mess all over my house. And I was so worried that I couldn't give them to her anymore, you know, and you said, I think probably she's just clearing something.
Yeah. Sometimes, and it just depends. It's different for every person or animal, but sometimes their body is overwhelmed and it literally has to do a purge.
It did.
It will initiate a purge. Sometimes it comes through as a detox. And it'll say, what's the fastest way to get this out of the body? So sometimes it's by vomiting, sometimes it's through diarrhea, whatever it takes to get all of that out of the body as quickly as possible. That's what the immune system will do. And, you know, when you look at the hundreds of studies that have been published, there are no side effects reported in over 30 years in all these studies. So if our body responds to the food that we're eating, if our immune system decides, oh, okay, I'm gonna push it out through the mouth, or I'm gonna push it out, you know, through diarrhea or whatever it may be, that's an immune response to whatever's happening inside of the body that it needs to get out.
Right.
It's not because the mushroom didn't do it. The mushroom just fed the immune system, and then the immune system did it, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Because I think, you know, it's not necessarily a praise report, you know, like, yay, except for it never happened again. Whatever it was she got. I'm so grateful too, because had I not experienced that, you don't know, because, you know, beagles, they eat anything. I mean, she'll eat anything. And I don't know what was going on in her system, but it probably would have been a vet call down the road. And now I was telling her, Nan, when I take them for walks, she literally is like a sled dog and she wants me to run with her, and I don't run. So I have to, sorry to disappoint, but, and she wants to run. Yes, we don't walk anymore. It's galloping, you know? So she feels great. She looks great. She's got clear eyes. You know, they used to have kind of the eye droop.
Like the streaky eyes.
Yeah, yeah, no, clear eyes.
We hear that a lot.
Yeah, so I think we have to look at that bigger picture of the full cost, you know, when we are, because it's like cheap dog food is not the answer.
Right.
You know, it just isn't. If we love our pets, at least, you know.
And we can't be hard on ourselves for what we didn't know. You know, I was shocked when there's another little short video you can find I think it's on YouTube, called 13 Worst Pet Foods. And I watched that and I was like, what? You know, we're just raised thinking that all these brands and all of these things are fine. And like, no one would lie to me. No one would knowingly do something that would hurt my pet. Right. But what happened was that after years and years, decades of just little compromises here or there, that's what happened. It wasn't this big leap all at once. It was just little compromises incrementally, but compounded over time, has gotten us to where we are today, where a lot of the foods that are out there are not even really foods anymore, right? It's just chemicals and stuff in the shapes of food, you know, dyes and all kinds of crazy stuff in it. So yeah, it's time that we get educated and be a voice for them and let other people know there are better ways that we can do things that are going to be, like you said, more affordable for us, but also more effective for our pets and for ourselves.
And keep them around a long time.
Yeah, so the good quality of life.
Yes, yes. Keep them puppies as long as we can. Well, to close out, let's see here. Anything else we forgot?
I don't think so. I've had such a great time talking to you.
Me too. We got to do this again.
I agree.
I hope my audience enjoyed this. Thank you, Cristin. Thank you, Hernan. Thanks so much. I look forward to it next time. God bless you all. You can contact me Facebook or at the site that you see across the banner there, and be glad to help. Yeah. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.